Hi, let's continue with our section. In this video, I will talk about reward. However, before we start, we need to look at the diagram of how reinforcement learning is performed. So let's look at the diagram. As you can see, there is actions, reward, and observations. We also have agent and also the environment. So the agent will perform action and then the agent will perform action to the environment and then the agent will receive the reward and then the environment will perform the observations to the agent. And now we did look at the diagram about reinforcement learning. Now let's talk about each entity, and the first entity that I will talk about is reward. So in reward, it is just a scalar value we obtain periodically from the environment. So as mentioned, reward can be positive or negative, large or small, but it is just a number. The purpose of the reward is to tell our agent how well it has behaved. So we don't define how frequently the agent receives this reward. It can be very second or once in an agent lifetime. Although it is common practice to receive rewards every fixed time stamp or at every environment interaction, just for convenience. In the case of once in a lifetime reward system, all rewards except the last one will be zero. So as I stated, the purpose of the reward is to give an agent feedback about its success. It is a central thing in reinforcement learning. So basically the term reinforcement comes from the fact that the reward obtained by an agent should reinforce its behavior in a positive or negative way. Reward is local, meaning that it reflects the success of the agent's recent activity and not all the successes achieved by the agent so far. Of course, getting a large reward for some action doesn't mean that a second later you won't face dramatic consequences as a result of your previous decision. It is like robbing a bank. It could look like a good idea until you think about the consequences. So what an agent is trying to achieve is the large accumulative reward over its sequence of actions. To give you a better understanding of reward, here is a list of some concrete examples about the rewards. The first one is financial trading. So an amount of profit is a reward for a trader buying and selling stocks. Chess reward is obtained at the end of the game as a win or lose or draw. Of course, it is up to interpretation. For me, for example, achieving a draw in a match against a chess grandmaster would be a huge reward. In practice, we need to specify the exact reward value, but it could be a fairly complicated expression. For instance, in the case of chess, the reward could be proportional to the opponent's strength. So let's talk about the dopamine system in the brain. So this is a part of the brain limbic system that produces dopamine every time it needs to send a positive signal to the rest of the brain. Higher concentrations of dopamine lead to a sense of pleasure, which reinforce activities considered by this system to be good. Unfortunately, the limbic system is ancient in terms of the things it considered good, food, reproduction, and dominance. but that is a totally different story. So now let's look at the computer games. They usually give obvious feedback to the player, which is either number of enemies killed or a score gathered. Note in this example, the reward is already accumulated, so in the reinforcement learning reward for arcade games should be the derivative of the score, that is plus 1 every time a new enemy is killed and 0 at all other time steps. Web navigation, there are problems with high practical value that require the automated extraction of information available on the web. Search engines are trying to solve this task in general, but sometimes to get to the data you are looking for, you need to fill in some forms or navigate through a series of links and complete captchas, which can be difficult for the search engine to do. There is an reinforcement learning based approach to those tasks in which the reward is the information or the outcome that you need to get. Neural network architecture search. So the RL, that means reinforcement learning, has been successfully applied to the domain of neural network architecture optimization, where the aim is to get the best performance metrics on some dataset by treating the number of layers of their parameters, adding extra bypass connection, or making other changes to the neural network architecture. The reward in this case is the performance accuracy or other measure showing how accurate the neural network prediction is. Dog training. So if you have ever tried to train a dog, you know that you need to give it something tasty but not too much every time it does the thing you have asked. It's also common to punish your pet a bit negative reward when it doesn't follow your orders, although your recent study have shown that it isn't as effective as the positive reward. The final example is the school marks. We all have experience here. School marks are a reward system designed to give pupils feedback about their study. And as you can see from all the examples above, the notion of reward is a very general indication of agent's performance, and it can be found or artificially injected into lots of practical problems around us. And that is all in this introduction video for the reward. So I hope you enjoy and you understand the reward so far. And of course, we will go through all the entities definition in the next video. And I will see you in the next video.